Hello, all you wonderful people. What is up? Welcome to another edition of Polarized Perspectives. And we have a unique video for you here today. As you can see, we kind of have stuff going on back there. It's holiday season, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate in this joyous time of year. I wish you a very happy holiday season and a Happy New Year to you all as well. Now, as I said, we have a unique video for you today. I was out at a store the other day and I just happened to be looking down the aisles and such, and I happened to find this. It says Campaign Manager 2008 by Z Man Games. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom. And I'm like, this is for me. Now, full disclosure, when I found this at the store I was at, it was $8. When I came home later, I found it on Amazon for $30. So there's not a definitive price I can give you for this game, but just take a look at your local stores, look around. If something like this seems interesting to you, because I saw this and I'm like, I need this. I never knew I needed something as much as this. Didn't even know this existed. And I'm like, I could hear the angels singing. I need this. So I figured, let's do an unboxing video, just kind of see what's inside. I guess first I'll read the back to everyone. I don't want to cut it off, but you can see this was obviously from 2008, so you can see Barack Obama and John McCain here. So, contents contains 45 McCain and 45 Obama campaign cards, 20 breaking news event cards, 20 battleground state tiles, 24 support markers, one rulebook. Who needs rules? No, just kidding. One rulebook, one scoring track, 20 scoring tiles, one going negative results chart. Don't know what that. Okay. One going negative die. Why are we going negative? We need positivity in this time. Four issue markers and four key demographic markers. Okay, that's the contents. We got that all down pat. So, now the description. Running a contemporary U.S. presidential campaign is the most amazing organizational feat in modern politics. It's a grueling endeavor with enormous pressure and many aspects to juggle. You have your candidate, the media, volunteers in every state, the campaign staff, the internet, attack ads, don't we know it, campaign consultants, pollsters, proxies, and political problems of every conceivable stripe. In Campaign Manager 2008, we invite you to assume the challenging position of the campaign manager for either Barack Obama or John McCain. Your candidate is relying on you to develop a winning campaign strategy and then go on to manage every angle of it successfully. You'll consider a wide variety of different tactics and strategies available to you, crafting a personal campaign plan by selecting a unique combination of techniques that are aimed squarely at pummeling your opponent. You will struggle to influence voters in critical swing states in this election while targeting key voter groups that might just put you over the top. With media savvy and crafty campaigning, you'll try to control the issues to your best benefit. Will McCain dominate the national security debate, or can Obama play on people's concerns over the economy? As the campaign manager of a national presidential campaign, you'll either put your candidate on the road to the White House or on the road to irrelevance. Okay, so something like this does seem really fun to me. I will note here that this is the only type of this kind that I've been able to find. 2008. I've tried looking for anything more updated or recent, cannot find it. Do with that information what you will. I don't know how well this sold. Uh, but I saw this and I started to undo like the wrapping on the outside, that that plastic wrapping, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I could just do an unboxing video instead. That sounds a whole lot more fun. So let's open it up. This presumably is the instruction booklet. Can you hear the sound of the pages turning? Wait, I just. Doesn't that sound thrilling? So, but basically, this puts you in the midst of a presidential campaign. Now, obviously, as we all know, Barack Obama won in 2008. That was to win for his first term as president. So, obviously, we know the results of the real election, how that played out. But it's still fun to buy something like this and see kind of what the goals are of this game, the obstacles. Also, if you're into good political fun and campaign drama, this seems like something for you. So we have components. So as we kind of read on the back of the box, the contents here, we have components. 2 sets of 45 campaign strategy cards. The red are for McCain and the blue are for Obama. That makes sense. Now, there are card types. So can we focus? Camera focus. We cannot. That's awesome. So at the top, there's card type. So for the one that they give as I guess the sample or whatever for McCain, it says demographic support Catholics. That's the card type. Whereas the sample here for Obama says card type attack economy. And then shows like a little picture. And then the next thing is instruction text. Let's see, for McCain, it says all undecided voters in states where Catholics are key demographic become red voters, even though we know that's not how politics actually works, but for the sake of the game. And then for Obama, instruction text, discard 2 cards from your hand to gain 2 support in economy in a single state. Again, not how an actual election works, but for the sake of the game. And then for Obama's, there's a little die thing right there. I don't know if you can see. Can I point to? There we go. See the die there? That's called a going negative icon. So you have the going negative die here kind of off to the side. And supposedly then you do something where you pick up something about going negative. What does going negative do for someone? Maybe it'll explain it later. And then for McCain, it has demographic notes down at the bottom. So some cards might have demographic notes. This demographic appears in bold. States start with this key demographic. Gotcha. So states that are bolded have the key demographic that we are going for. In this case, for McCain, this would be Catholic support, and it's showing New Hampshire and Ohio as 2 examples. And then there's something on McCain's also called Beginner Star down here at the bottom. We have 1 deck of 20 breaking event cards from something called ZNN. That's kind of funny. Can we? It's tough to see that on the end probably, but it says ZNN. Okay, that's clever. Where again you have instruction text and a card title. So the title for this one in the sample here is Record Turnout in Early Voting, and the instruction text is the key demographic in the affected state is altered. Ooh. All right, next we have the going negative results chart. So presumably there's a die in here where you roll it, and then if you have a card that has the going negative text on it, you roll the die, and then whatever the chart says that means is your result. Presumably that's it. Again, we haven't really gone through the scoring track. So presumably if you win a state, it goes in your track there. You can see the top one red for McCain, the bottom one blue for Obama. The race to 270, and then 20 battleground state tiles. So presumably you're not designed to go after every state. It's just a matter of maybe these battleground states, and whoever wins these battleground states based on your campaign that you do for this game supposedly wins. I don't know. We'll have to open up the rest of this and see how it goes. The anatomy of the state. Hopefully we're all political scientists in here and would love to hear more about the anatomy of a state. Each battleground state tile represents a specific state and indicates the number of electoral votes, or in this case, the name of the game, victory points, which will go to the player who wins that state. At any given time, there will be 4 states in play. Not how politics works. If only we could focus on certain states at a time, but unfortunately, you have to go over all of them. Anyway, okay. I'm getting way too into this game for my own good. The sentiment is indicated by the 4-space issue track, which runs along the left side of the card. So there's a state card. Gotcha. An issue marker is moved up and down the track as it leans based on the leaning of the state's electoral shifts and is swiveled to match the outline of the track space it occupies. Whichever issue a state's issue marker points is termed to as the majority issue in the state, and the other is the minority issue. Seems pretty straightforward. Each state also has 2 demographic groups. At any given moment, one of these 2 will be marked with a key demographic marker to indicate that it is currently the key demographic in the state. The current key demographic in the state may be targeted to win over that state's undecided voters. The other demographic group has no effect. Okay. So example, and there's an example off to the side for demographic. New Jersey's key demographic, we love New Jersey, by the way. New Jersey's key demographic marker starts in the indicated space. Therefore, when this state enters into play, Clinton Democrats are the key demographic issue here. So it looks like that there are 2 demographics here. One obviously being Clinton Democrats, as we alluded to, the other being Jewish conservatives. Okay. Getting started. Build your campaign decks. While each player has a supply of 45 campaign strategy cards, only 15 will be used in any individual game. The first step, therefore, is for each player to select 15 cards that will make up their own campaign deck for the current game. This is done through a drafting process as described below. Gotcha. That's what the star icon is. Okay. Remember when I was like, oh, there's a beginner star icon on these? That's what that means. Just if you're diving right into the game for the first time, you don't know how to, construct a campaign, move a campaign, manage a campaign. That's the type of icon you're looking for. So you start off by 15 cards. So do you? Oh, okay. You shuffle your 45 cards and then you select 15. So like you just choose 15 and the other 30 just go back in. Okay. Choose your starting estate, step 2. Next, each player takes 10 state tiles with their color and logo and privately selects 2 of them to be in play at the beginning of the game. Gotcha. When both players are ready, the 4 chosen states are revealed and placed face up between the players. The rest may be set aside until needed later. Place the issue markers, key demographic markers, in the indicating starting positions for each state. Yep, so you have the state cards, and those will be into play as well. And then shuffle the breaking news deck with the ZNN logo. That still gets me. Shuffle the breaking news event cards and place them face down near the states in play to form a deck. Cards will be drawn from this deck and resolved as new states enter play. All right, now we get into actually playing the game. This is fascinating. Hope you've enjoyed the reading so far. The first player to finish building their campaign strategy deck may go first. When playing with the pre-constructed starting decks, the player closest to their 18th birthday, date of voter eligibility, may go first. Well, this seems ageist. What if you have, a younger person and an older person playing, someone who's 21 and someone who's, 30? This is ageist. I mean, it should be a coin flip. Or you roll a die or something. It's like even this person goes first, odd this, you know what? Play a card from your hand. Okay, when a card is played, the instructions on the card are as follows. Most cards are then placed on the player's discard pile. Okay. So you have your 15 cards, you play one first. That's your first strategy. Then once that's done and, all of that is resolved from that card, it is then discarded. Not, thrown away, discarded, but just placed off to the side. Or option B, draw a card from your deck. If a player already has 5 or more cards in their hand, however, may not choose to draw a card, although they may still play cards which grant additional cards. Apart from this restriction, there is no hand size limit. If a player wishes to draw a card but has no cards remaining in their campaign deck, the discard pile is reshuffled to form a new deck. This is not at all how politics works. Why did I get this? Gaining support. When a card or event or going negative result indicates that a player gains a point of support in a particular issue for a state, this means one voter on the side of the state associated with the issue swishes to that player's color. This can be accomplished in one of 3 ways. In the example below, McCain is the current player. So, step 1. Players may place a token of their own color into a voter spot of their opponent's color. They may remove, step 2, they may remove a token of their opponent's color from a voter spot of their own color. Or step 3, they may replace a token of their opponent's color that's on a white spot with a token of their own color. And when you are given a prompt by either a card, event, or going negative to replace a color with one of your own, you may choose to do so. All of these actions are equivalent, and it doesn't matter which method players use. All result in a voter of their own replacing the opponent's color. So in this case, with McCain being used, blue being swapped out for red, or white being swapped out for red. White, of course, meaning undecided in this case. If the opposing player has no voters to be taken away, wouldn't that be sad? Where it's like, hey, I have no voters you can take away. These undecided voters will ordinarily be the last voters claimed unless affected by a demographic support card or breaking news event. That makes sense, yeah, because undecided voters don't really decide until maybe like a week until the election on average who they're going to vote for. So that makes sense where it's like you don't want to supplement or supplant, I should say, rather, the undecided voter until absolutely necessary. Now, okay, here it is at the bottom, because this was the question I just thought of. If all voters for an issue are already the player's color, gaining support in that issue in the same state has no further effect. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, well, what if they're all the same color already? That does nothing. Okay. Shifting a state toward an issue. This is something that campaigns have to deal with. Okay, maybe this could be interesting here. When playing a card or event or going negative result indicates that a player may shift a state toward a particular issue, the state's issue marker is moved the indicated number of spaces. If the marker is already in the furthest track position, additional shifts in that direction have no further effect. For example, the majority issue, either defense or economy, so for whatever reason, those are apparently the only 2 issues in this election. There's nothing else in play. Those are the only 2 issues in this. Okay. So, for example, the current majority issue in any given state is defense. The active player plays a card which allows them to shift the issue track 1 space toward economy. When doing so, this swivels the issue to make it occupy economy now. Since the marker now points toward economy, economy becomes the majority issue. So like this is the example here. Wait, there we go. So again, it's tough to see because the arrows, but basically at one point once you play a card, I guess, this is how it looks. I guess how the default state might look, but once you play a card to bring it the other way, this is what happens. Altering the key demographic in a state. When a card or event or going negative result indicates that a player may alter the key demographic of a state, the state's key demographic marker is shifted. So as we kind of alluded to before, like with the example of New Jersey, this kind of sounds like when you go from, let me flip back. Oh, that was already 2 pages ago. Fascinating. So in New Jersey, you flip from, you start at default as Clinton Democrats being the majority demographic. However, you might have something in play that might flip it to Jewish conservatives. And so this can be done either through a card, event, or going negative result. So, for example, the current key demographic in a state is college graduates. The active player plays a card which allows them to alter the key demographic in the state. They move the marker to the other position of Catholics, and Catholic becomes the key demographic for the state. So, presumably, based on what we've read before, Catholic would probably be for McCain, and college graduates probably for Obama, presumably based on what we've read before. All right, discarding cards for effect. Some cards indicate that a player may discard additional cards from their hand to gain effect. These cards may not be played without discarding the required number of cards. Of course, if a card indicates that a player may discard any number of cards, 0 is a legal choice. Ugh. Did a lawyer write these rules or something? That's awful. That's diabolical. If you aren't rating this and you're like, well, discard a card, I have to, at least do one. And you're like, 0 is a legal option. This is such a lawyer move right here. Anyway, going negative. Some cards may feature a large die icon. These cards represent negative campaigning. That's a regular staple in US politics. That has a chance of causing a minor backlash against the player. Whenever a player elects to go negative by playing one of these cards, they must roll a die at the end of their turn and consult the results chart to determine the effect. So you roll the die, and then that's probably whatever it is. Winning a state. If at any time all the voters on a majority issue side of a state are in support of a single candidate, for example, all voters on the side currently pointed by the issue marker are either red or blue, that player immediately wins the state and claims its scoring tile, placing it on their scoring track with their own color showing. Okay. Okay, for example, early in the game, McCain has already won Oregon and Iowa. So those scoring markers are already on his scoring track, displaying a score of 169. Obama wins Virginia, so takes that scoring tile and places it blue side up on his own scoring track as shown. Remembering not to cover up the two pre-printed votes. Oh yeah, Obama already has 2. Okay. Obama squeaks into the lead with 170. Winning a state, along with the accompanying steps described below, occurs immediately when a player achieves the necessary support, before rolling the die for going negative. If multiple states are won simultaneously, each is resolved one at a time as described below, in the order desired by the current player. Okay, so bringing new states into play. Whenever a player wins a state, the state is removed from play and replaced with a new state from those which have not yet been brought into play. All such states are eligible who have not yet been played. The player who won the state chooses which new state is brought in, even if it is currently the opposing player's turn. If all states have already been brought into play, no further states can be added into the game. Oh, darn, we can't add the 51st, 52nd states or something. The issue and key demographic markers from the old state are placed into the indicated spaces on the new one, and all support markers from the old state are returned to the owners. So once a state is won and claimed, you gain your stuff back, essentially your markers, while the new state is put into play. Breaking news from ZNN. Every time a new state is brought into play, not counting the 4 starting states, a card is drawn, from the breaking news deck and resolved by following the instruction text. By default, this event affects the new state which just entered the game, unless the effect of a media support card dictates otherwise. If multiple states are brought into play, an event is drawn and resolved for each one that is added, one at a time, before introducing the next. Okay. Once resolved, breaking news cards are removed from the game, so they're put into their own kind of discard. And hey, we're on the last page now. Winning the game. Okay, here's how you win. Each candidate comes into the game with a slightly different number of electoral votes already locked up in non-battleground states. Therefore, Each player needs a slightly different number of additional votes to achieve the 270 electoral votes necessary to win. McCain requires 115 additional votes. Obama needs another 113. This perceived advantage is offset by McCain's entering the game with a slight edge in battleground states worth a few more total votes than those favoring Obama. Example, it's been a hard-fought battle with both candidates winning many states and securing a good number of electoral votes. The current score is McCain 258, Obama 263. We're getting to the climax of 270 here. It all comes down to the final battleground state of Ohio. Why is it always Ohio? Through some shrewd campaigning, McCain manages to win the state. Ohio's scoring tile puts McCain past the 270 votes needed to win, with a final tally of 278. Thanks to the great work of his campaign manager, McCain has won the election. In the event that the game ends with neither player having the necessary 270 votes, which can happen, I'm waiting for this to happen in real life at some point, but you can have a 269-269 nice tie. And that's the example it gives here. For example, both players have exactly 269 electoral votes. The election is too close to call. While in real life, this would only be the beginning of a long adventure, which, yeah, it goes through the process because, especially if you think about it in real life, there are recounts. If you're within a certain margin, that offsets, or sorry, that indicates an recount automatically. So that could happen. You could also have events where, if it ends up staying at 269, it goes to Congress, where the House selects the president, the Senate selects the vice president. The Supreme Court might be involved depending on, again, the recounts and if there are any objections to the recounts. So there are different ways in which the other branches of government would get involved in a 269 tie. Back to the instructions, though. Would only be the beginning of a long adventure. Recounts in the Supreme Court deliberations for game purposes. The player should consider this a rare draw, which that could be fun. That could be interesting. Credits and acknowledgments. Game design to Christian Leonard and Jason Matthews. Graphic design to Joshua Capel. Is it Capel? Capel? Keep in mind, there's no pronunciation guide, so I'm on my own here. The authors would like to dedicate this game to the memory of Franz Benno de Long, a wonderful game designer who left us far too soon. Campaign Manager 2008 was inspired by an unpublished design of his, which used a similar two-track support mechanism. Okay, so now let's open the box. As I kind of said, because I kept looking here. You can kind of see the film, but I kept looking. Where's that at the going negative results chart? Because I'm like, well, what's the idea of going negative here? Is it like a could be good, could be bad type of thing? So going negative results chart. We're actually in this stuff now. All right, going negative results chart. When you play a card with the going negative symbol, you must roll the die. There is a die in here. That's awesome. For the card to be resolved, your opponent gains the indicated effect. So if you roll a 1, you gain 1 support in either issue in a single state. If you get a 2, shift a single state 1 toward either issue. Okay, you move it 1, in other words. Okay. If you roll a 3, you alter the key demographic of the state. 4, draw a card. 5, draw 2 cards. And 6 has no effect. Okay, there we go. So drawing a card, presumably, probably not the worst case scenario. So realistically, without having played this game, in my mind, I'd think, okay, if you at least roll a 4, 5, or 6, that's not terrible for going negative. So it's not too bad. And then you can see these are presumably the Obama time. There we go. The Obama tiles for states 1. So you would put that here at the top where you can see McCain vote tally, Obama vote tally. And you can see where Obama already has a 2 elector advantage there. I wonder if I open this up, is there an easy way to open this up? No, there is not. Okay, so we need scissors. Do we have scissors? We do. Sorry, let me introduce the rest of the stuff first. Here are the ZNN breaking news cards. So the one shown on the outside here, Afghan insurgency spreading. The affected state shifts one space toward defense. So when that's played, that automatically happens, goes toward defense. What I'm still not sure. So defense, is that still? So presumably the issue of economy is for Obama and defense is for McCain. Okay. And then in this bag, as you can see, this is where we have the markers and the die. Here's the die. So you roll that. I rolled a 4 there. There's a 5. I'm on a roll. So that happens when you have a going negative card, it sounds like. There are also these little cubes. Can we zoom in on focus? Yeah, those cubes. I don't know what those are for yet, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of those, and then what looks like 4 of these little triangles. Do you build a house with them? Like you put the cube on the bottom and the triangle on top? That might actually be for like the issues, actually, now that I think about it. Those might be for the issue moving spaces. So the 4 arrows, the 4 triangles are arrows, I should say, for the issue of the state. So whether it's 2 arrows pointing up for defense or 2 arrows pointing for economy, those are what the 4 arrows are for. And then for the cubes, those are for the demographic. So you color it in or like, well, not color it in, but like you place it probably for whether it's, like for, as the example says, college graduates or Catholics for a state. So that's what those are probably for. So we got that issued, or that issue resolved, I should say. McCain and Obama. There we go. I'll get it eventually. Playing cards with, it might be tough to see with the plastic. You hear the plastic? But with their logos from 2008, I can tell right there. That's a pretty cool touch. I like that. Is there anything else? Anything? And then there's a cardboard box on the inside that does absolutely nothing, but we keep it in there because it's probably for so that way things don't move around or, everything stays in place or what have you. So that's that. Let me open this up now. Probably won't show the cards or anything because, it's not like we're actually playing the game, so the effects have no bearing on this unboxing, but we'll at least open up this main part here. So we showed the one side with McCain and Obama. This is Obama's side. This is McCain's side. So it looks like that the states all align. So here are the red states on this side. Here they are shown blue on this side. They're the exact same spot. So my guess is whoever wins, it's then placed on their board. So for whatever reason, there's just one board that's like, the tally board is on both sides. Oops, I bumped the mic arm. But on here it starts over here, but on this side it starts over here on the opposite side. So I don't know what's going on here. But then you have the states where, they're blue on this side, red on that side. That makes sense. I would wish for this to kind of be a duplication. I don't know, where it's like each player has their own tally board off to the side as opposed to just having one. But, and now the rest of these, you have like maps. I don't know if you can see the maps here, but presumably these are all the swing states that we're trying to win over, the ones that are kind of shaded. Because it looks like they're the same shaded ones on each of these. Oh, no, they're different. Okay. Because I noticed, like this one, for example, I'm getting way too close. This one, for example, does not have like Missouri shaded, but this one does. So this one, no Missouri. This one does have Missouri. I'm popping up, I'm popping out all the cardboard stuff. But on the other side, let's get a different one because these are all falling out. On the other side, you have examples of states. So there's New Jersey, Virginia, Missouri, Montana. How are these swing states? And I'm gonna have to go back and look at 2008. In the good old, oh my goodness, more are popping out. Well, we lost Virginia. Um, in the good old 2025, I don't consider Missouri, New Jersey, or Montana to be key swing states that we're just chomping at the bit to go after. Pardon me for those voters out there. But yeah, I don't consider Oregon, Washington. Some of these can be swing states like Michigan, Nevada. Wisconsin's a swing state. I can see that. Pennsylvania swing state. I can see that. So some of these have really held true, I guess, over the years. Others, not so much. And as you can see, we'll pull out Virginia since it kind of fell out. Uh, Actually, that has 4 markers. Why does that one have 4? What else we have? West Virginia, wild and wonderful, am I right? So here you have a red, a white, and a blue marker, as we kind of stated, one for Republican, one for Democrat, and then the undecided voter in the middle. Once you win, of course, then why is there a red and then 2 undecided? But anyway, you can also kind of see how the key where it says Clinton Democrats, that's the key. That's the default position where you would put probably that the cube. And so as the game progresses, you either try to flip it to moderate evangelicals, or you're trying to maintain it as Clinton Democrats, depending on who you're playing as, whoever's campaign you're managing. Then on the other side, I keep trying to figure out how to get this into central. Anyway, and then you can see up top is defense, and then down below is economy. You can see where the dot is. So the default position for West Virginia is toward defense. However, if you are going for defense, depending on who you're for, you're trying to maintain that, keep that, if whether it's 1 or 2 arrows, or if you're for the economy, again, depending on whose campaign you're managing, you're trying to flip that and go, the other way with the arrows. That's it for the game. The only thing we haven't really gotten into are the breaking news cards. I haven't opened these. I haven't opened up the campaign cards for each campaign, but you get the gist of it. So the goal is to just try and win the 270 electoral college votes. And you do that by trying to persuade candidates or trying to win the issues as well as the targeted demographic in each state. Although, if you notice, Florida has more circles than West Virginia. So that might be something to explore. I guess the same principle still applies. The only thing I don't know is which side is which, because here you have 2 undecided circles on the top. Don't know if you can see or if it's reflecting light or what have you. Anyway, 2 circles at the top are undecided, but only one at the bottom. So I don't know. Is the key to try and win then all 10? That's all I have for this. You know what? This unboxing ended up being a little more fun than I expected. A lot of reading. Sorry for all the reading. I did not really anticipate playing this, obviously, because you know, we went on so long, my light went out. Anyway, yeah, we're just gonna end the video right here. It's gone on for way too long. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. Again, this is called Campaign Manager 2008. If you enjoy this, please take a look. Find it at either your local game store. I'm not sure where it might have this. Antiques store, maybe. I mean, 2008 was eons ago at this point. Or even, again, find it on Amazon, though it is a little more on Amazon price wise, I found. So do with that information what you will. But if you are a political person like myself who enjoys having this type of stuff, even if you may not play it, again, it's just neat to have. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to see more unboxing of stuff, like if you want, there's political stuff out there in the wild in stores, please let me know. I'll try and see if I can find it. But, or if you want to see, yeah, just more unboxing of stuff, more political games, I'll see what I can try and find. And yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.